Hey, welcome back to the Head First Fishing Show. We're here at St. Pete Fishing Outfitters, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that's night fishing dock lights. It's so much fun to get out there and see all those fish swimming around those dock lights, especially the green glow ones, and you can see that fish come out from the dock and take your bait. It's just so much fun. It's a great way to get people into fishing, especially little children, when they can go out and just watch all the activity in the light. But I wanted to talk about something specifically, and that's kind of a problem that you'll encounter every year when you're out night fishing, and that's when the little baby hatchling, the fry bait, starts showing up on the dock lights everywhere. It's all over the place, and you're going to get tiny little hatchling sardines, and you're going to get a ton of those little bay anchovies, or they're also called glass minnows. They're very clear bodied fish, and they have a very reflective stripe that goes down their sides, and these things will absolutely take over some areas during this time of the year, and they're very problematic because when they're around, the trout and the snook and other species will just gorge on them, and they won't touch anything else. I've been out so many times where I've had great bait of other kinds. I've had lures, old standbys that work good, and if you don't have the tiniest of lures that can imitate that little glass minnow, you're in for a long night and a frustrating night. So what you got to do is you got to go either fish with that bait in particular, those tiny little anchovies, or the tiniest little white bait you can find, or you've got to throw something that's going to imitate that. And I have a lure here that would be dynamite for that exact situation. So I have an Umpqua gummy minnow. This thing is exactly an imitation of a juvenile bait fish, something that hasn't been alive that long. It just hatched, and it's in basically kind of the larval stage almost, I guess you could say. But this bait right here is a dead ringer for a little bait fish, and if you can get out your fly rod or your small spinning tackle and cast this and work this through those dock lights, I guarantee you that you're going to catch fish. The trout in particular, the speckled trout, absolutely will gorge themselves on those little minnows, and this thing will be dynamite for loading the box. You could also use this for Spanish mackerel. Spanish mackerel are notorious for feeding on schools of bay anchovies, and every now and then you'll see Spanish mackerel schooling out in the bay or offshore, and you're throwing baits on them and they just dive and you don't get hit. Well, first of all, back up a little bit off the school. Second of all, you want to get the tiniest little minnow imitation that you possibly can to throw at that school, and usually that'll make the difference. And I'm going to use this with a 15 or 20 pound leader. The eyelets on these hooks are very small, so you got to use small tackle. This is not something you're really trying to catch a big fish. It's a small little lure, and it's kind of a niche bait that really will put a lot of fish in the boat when the fish are just absolutely don't care about anything else other than those little bitty anchovies. Another good imitation is this Mira Lure, and this is a suspending twitch bait, and it's about 2.5 inches long. It's got a lot of flash, and this looks like basically the same thing as that gummy minnow. It looks like a anchovy. It's slightly bigger than that other bait, but this would also be a very good choice because mixed in with those little small anchovies, there's going to be some that are a little bit bigger, and the fish will be more than happy to eat that bait as well. So you can work this along the top. You can twitch it and dart it along the surface of the water, or you can let it sink down a little bit and it'll suspend, and then you can just kind of dart it back and forth and let it pause and dart it, and that would be a really good choice for catching fish when you have this millions and millions of different little bait fish out there on these lights. Thirdly, we have a lot of shrimp flushing out of the bay right now. I was out fishing the other night and I saw shrimp getting knocked out of the water left and right. So you always got to go back and reach for your DOAs. You want the kind of shrimp that's roughly the same size as shrimp you see get knocked out of the water. These are the 2 3/4 inch size, And these baits have been around for a long time. They catch a lot of fish. And a really cool little technique you can do with these things is when you cast it out, cast it into the darkness, and you're going to try to bring it through the edge of the light or through the light, and you want to skip it just slightly across the top of the water and let it sink for a second, and then you want to make it jump and skip again, and that will really get those fish fired up, and they'll chase that bait and crush it. This is roughly what a white shrimp looks like, this color, and the eyes on these are kind of a pinkish orange, which kind of imitate that glow that shrimp have when they are hit by light coming from those dock lights. So definitely you should load up on these types of baits during this time of year when you've got a lot of that natural bait showing up and it's smaller in size, and the shrimp, or excuse me, the fish are really targeted in on that, and they are just not hitting anything else. You're going to have to really match the hatch in this situation, matching what's available, what the fish are going after in such high numbers. But anyway, that concludes today's video. Appreciate you coming by the channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Come by stpetefishingoutfitters.com to check out all they have to offer in tackle and gear, and visit www.hff.fish if you want to check out a fishing trip with me. I'll see you later.